Hey guys, welcome. It is Sunday evening, it's absolutely beautiful, and this is going to be another video where I'm answering a question from one of the readers, or one of our community, Steve Dock, who's asked us, how do we know when our loved ones are around us? What are the signs? So this is what this video is all about. If you have not joined me before, then welcome. If you have, then thank you. And if you would like to subscribe for more of my videos that I release, then please subscribe below and make sure to hit the notification bell. So today I'm going to be talking about the different signs that your loved ones are around you and how spirit will send you these signs. And this is also in conjunction and correlation even to just normal spirit interference from a paranormal point of view as well. So I have done this before. Several of the signs that I've used, I've actually got podcasts on them, and I will refer to those. They're more in depth, and there's many other signs that are on here that I'll be talking about that we will be recording more in depth about those. So this is going to be an overview of 10 signs that your loved ones are around you and what to look for. So when I come back, we're going to get right into it. Okay guys, welcome back. If this is the first time that you have joined me, my name is jo.my. I am the author of Deadly Departed. I am the founder of the ASSMPI, now ISSMPI. I have written for many international magazines, appeared on radio, etc, etc, etc. Enough about that. I am here today to talk to you and to give you more information regarding your loved ones. There's nothing worse. I've been through a lot of grief in my life. I have lost many loved ones, and I keep getting asked all the time, how do we know, even from people that I do readings or sittings with, or people who are in my community or have approached me on social media. They ask me, how can I know that my loved one is around me? What signs and things do I look for? What do they give me? Well, I'm going to go through 10 signs of recognizing your loved ones. And each of those signs, I'm going to just give a very quick overview of each of them. And at the end of it, I'm going to tell you where you can actually go and get an infographic and download an infographic with all those signs on them so that you can just keep them for reference. However, I've spoken about some of these signs before in my podcast, before it was Deadly Departed on the launch of the book. And incidentally, if you've bought Deadly Departed, then I thank you from my heart. Thank you for buying it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have got it and you haven't joined the readers group in Facebook, then please do so. But anyway, I digress. The podcast that I did before actually has some of these signs on it, and they go more in depth, and I have some chats with different people about all of these different signs, and I'm going to finish that off. So guys who have been waiting for signs of spirit, the podcast changed when I launched Deadly Departed, but we still have signs of spirit in there, and I'm going to continue going through these signs. So each of these signs that I give you today, I'm going to do separate videos and podcasts on them so that you have them as basically a referral bank that you can go to and refer to at any given time. So let's dive right into it and see where we go with it. And of course, if you've got any questions, then please message down below or go on my site, send me a message, and I will be happy to help. And of course, if you haven't, subscribed, then please do so. Subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get alerted every time I put up a video. Now, we're going to go through, I'm not going to, as I said, I'm not going to go into each of these signs individually for a long period of time because it would take too long. And I've got separate videos for them and separate podcasts for them that you can listen to and learn from. But I am going to give you a quick overview of them. So, sign number one, animals. We all know about, seeing the butterfly or the dragonfly or an owl or birds or animals that were maybe connected to your loved ones. There's nothing worse than losing loved ones. I understand that, and I know that you're so desperate to reach out to them, and they're also desperate to reach out to you. They want to let you know. So they will send you these signs, and these signs can be in the form of making you more aware of animals that are around you, such as a robin or a cardinal, or if they had an affinity for a particular animal, or you have an affinity for a particular part of nature, then you will start to see these little signs, and it won't be. Here's the other thing: you've got to be very scientific about it, guys. It's not, you can't just take every sign as a sign from spirit. Like there's a rainbow, and that's a sign from spirit, or there's a feather, and the feather's a sign from your angel or your guardian angel or from spirit. Because you could be at the beach or the seaside and there's hundreds of feathers, and the feathers are being dropped from a bird in the sky. You'd be looking at something that is rather strange in terms of how it's happened, and it's unusual. For instance, if you perhaps seen a feather, or what we understand as an apport or an asport, which is when spirit actually manifests certain objects from certain areas into another area, and so you may have a feather that may manifest in your home somewhere that's unusual and not come from anywhere, or in your car and sitting on your driver's seat and you weren't anywhere, and there was it will be something that is so subtly strange, something that's a little bit different that you need to be aware of. And you'll recognize these signs about you. So, okay, so let's crack on. The second sign that we'll have is music, okay? And music's a great one. So I know in a lot of the readings that I've done for people, their loved ones will come through and they will give information of maybe songs that they've listened to, or songs or particular music that has been played at maybe the funeral, or something that is connected to them. But in terms of music, if let's say for instance your father was a great lover of Dean Martin or somebody like that, and you were continually hearing a Dean Martin song, or a Dean Martin song came on the radio when you weren't even expecting it, or sometimes spirit have actually made things come on in your home and you've not even had the music box switched on, and it plays a favourite song of your loved one, or you hear songs that they loved. If you've lost a brother or a sister and they had a particular love for a particular type of music, and all of a sudden it starts to play and you hear it regularly, that could also be a sign from your loved ones as well. So music's a big one. As I said, I go into these a lot more in depth in each individual podcast and video, so go and check them out. And the third sign I want to go through, because I don't want to keep you too long. One of the third signs is smells. Okay, smells. You may had a father or a grandfather, or your father maybe smoked a particular brand of cigarette or cigars, or you may actually you may actually smell their odor, their perfume, or something like that. And again, that's another lesson. I go far more in depth into that. But smells, so if you had a particular smell that was connected to your loved one, you may actually smell that. And of course, you're not looking for these signs. These signs, they will come to you intuitively, or they will come to you very subtly, just be a subtle thing that you will notice. And when you pick these up, you'll know deep inside of yourself, you will have a knowing feeling, oh, you know, that was my dad, or that was my mother, or that was my brother or sister, or whoever else you've lost. The second, the fourth sign that I want to talk about is vibration. So vibration is when people say, you know, and mediums have said to some people, you know, you were touched by spirit, or you were, you know, something like that. It's not that they've just manifested a finger and poked you, but there'll be a vibrational, you'll feel a vibration. You know, sometimes when mediums open to spirit, they'll feel a buzzing or a tingling around their head or somewhere. They will have their own calling card, okay? And so you may feel a very strange vibration around you. You may be sitting reading, you know, and all of a sudden you feel as if something's touched your hair, and that could be your loved ones, you know, vibrating, and you feeling that vibration, and that they've simulated that touch. And so, you know, don't dispel it, because, you know, you'll get more signs, and you'll be able to join these together like it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so, you know, think about that, the vibrations, you know, that you maybe feel, or a touch, or a sensation around you. You may feel a vibration sensation, and as I said before, these signs are also in parallel to any spirit. You could feel this from any spirit, but in particular, I'm kind of talking about loved ones, and if you're grieving, how your loved ones will easily try and give you signs to communicate with you. So the fifth one is going to be dreams. Okay, so dreams is there's here. Let me just explain something here, because a lot of people have approached me and said, I haven't dreamt about my loved one, and I'm not dreaming about them. Don't let it put you off, okay? Because you probably have, you just can't, you can't remember, okay? Because you will often create, like I said in a previous video, go and have a listen or a watch of the video that I made on the top 3 problems of communicating with your loved ones. And one of the problems is that you block yourself. You build this impenetrable here we go again. I did this in the other video. Fog. Okay, you build this impenetrable fog, like this wall, and you're kind of blocked from everything. So don't panic, because as you go through your grief process, as you go through that process, you'll start to clear the fog, and you start to break down the barriers that you've erected. So your loved ones will come through to you in dreams. You may dream about a memory you had. You may dream about a situation you were in. You may see them in your dreams clairvoyantly, or you may even hear them in your dreams. Which takes me on to my 6th point, okay? My 6th point actually being hearing your loved ones. There's many times where I have given sittings to people, and I've said to them, you heard your mother or you heard your father call your name. And sometimes it can be, you know, objective, where it's outside and you can hear it maybe objectively, as if they've created a vibrational sound in the air and you can hear it. But normally what it is you're subjectively hearing them inside of your mind. It's like it's a mind-to-mind connection, and you'll subjectively hear something that will give you this intuitive this intuitive feeling that it was them. You'll know deep inside of you, because the vibrations will match. Okay, so you may hear in your mind a word or a phrase that your loved one had said, okay, and you will never forget that word or that phrase, but it will immediately bring that memory back, or that knowing back. You'll get that claircognizant feeling, that claircognizant knowing that was your loved one. You may hear in your mind, all of a sudden, you could be, you know, walking down the street or something, and then you may actually hear in your mind a song that they used to sing to you, and you kind of know, oh, you know, that was my dad, or that was my brother, or that was my mother, or goodness gracious me, there's a spirit around here. So that's another way that spirit will try and communicate to you. And that also leads me on to the 7th sign, which is synchronistic signs, synchronicities. You know, first coined by Carl Jung, or Hung, whatever you want to, you know, the famous psychologist or psychiatrist. I can't actually remember. But synchronicities would be situational, something that is it's happening at the same time. It's a, maybe it was a synchronistic, you were thinking about a song, let's say, and then all of a sudden that song was played. That's a kind of synchronicity. Or everything came together. Everything. Think of synchronicities as a jigsaw, okay? And there's maybe different links to that jigsaw. So maybe there's some missing pieces, and these pieces go together. And when they're all together, they actually bring out that end action. Okay, so a synchronicity. If I'm explaining this right, because I'm doing it all off the top of my head, but if I'm explaining this right, the synchronicity will be a series of actions, a series of events that conclude in a recognized sign or action towards the end. Okay, so a series of events that make up, so that jigsaw puzzle right through there. Again, I will be going into this. I don't think I've recorded about synchronicities in the podcast or on a video. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. If I actually have it up there, you that have followed spirit signs. I don't think I've done it, so that might be the next one that I'm going to do, and I'll go more in depth into that one. So, but here's the next thing that we're going to move on to, which will be your 8th sign, is light anomalies. Now, there is great conjecture about orbs, okay? And being a photographer as well, I'm very skeptical of orbs unless, and let me explain this, unless the orb anomaly, the light anomaly that is an orb, it responds to conscious conscious thought, or has its own intelligence and responds to conscious or spontaneous or questioning, or responds in some way with its own consciousness, with its own conscious experience, if you like, then I will think, yeah, there is something in this. So don't think that every little orb that you see is loved ones about, because 90% of the time these are clearly dust, water, moisture, things in the air, and I can replicate them very quickly using a digital camera. However, there are times where these light or balls of energy do appear, and they have this consciousness behind it, or they respond to conscious expression or thought. So that's another way. But another thing about light anomalies could be like flashes, or flashes of light in your eyes that you maybe you perceive a particular location or information. Some of these things are more attributed really to paranormal investigations and signs that paranormal investigators will take to investigate these light anomalies. And these light anomalies would not have a scientific basis of explanation. You wouldn't be able to explain it scientifically. So it's a little bit, you've kind of got to watch that there. Okay, so light anomalies. I want to go on to visits and apparitions. So visits and apparitions. Okay, so there's many examples of spirit appearing. Now, give you a perfect example, my father appeared to me when he passed, and it frightened the living daylights out of me. And I've spoken about this in many radio shows I've been on. But a lot of people have got experiences of their loved ones visiting them prior to actually passing, and also after passing, coming and visiting their loved ones. And maybe they wake up in the middle of the night and they see their loved one at the bottom of their bed, or they objectively get a flash of their loved one in their perception, in their mind and in their eyes. They might see a figure, and so they'll have a visitation that way. That'll be like an apparition. But visitations can also be in many other ways through dream state. There's a parallel to that as well, where your loved one will visit you in dream state and within a meditative state. So there is a reality of your loved ones visiting you and showing up, and sometimes loved ones will visit you to warn you about something. In many cases, there's been sightings of loved ones who have passed that have come through to warn of something that's impending that you need to take notice of. And the next one I want to go into, which is the 10th one, is your electrical interference. Now, because we're all made of energy, and spirit obviously is pure energy, they're able to, through their own consciousness and through their own manipulation of that energetic force, they can make things happen. So your loved one may switch on the television when you're not thinking about it. Now, this can also be like poltergeist and haunting cases, etc. So you have to, there is this intuitive knowing, there's this intuitive feeling that you'll get. You'll kind of know if it's not your family. You'll discern that through the love connection that you'll have, and you will feel pure love when it is your loved one that's coming. You'll just know. You'll just have that clear cognizant knowing that that's your loved one, and you will feel that vibration there. So, but your loved ones can affect your light bulbs. Now, also there's power surges that can actually cause things to happen. Power surges can make light bulbs blow, can make things flash, etc., etc. But normally there's an intelligence behind it, and I can give you a little example of this. We had a spirit that happened in Florida, actually at my home in Florida, and both my wife and I were standing, and I actually communicated out loud and said, blow, make the light bulb blow, etc., etc., and they could control that, and they actually made it go brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer. And then on the third occasion, when he asked them, well, go ahead, do whatever you can, boof, 4 light bulbs in that whole candelabra thing that we had, the lamp that we had, blew, and it was under controlled conditions. There was communication, there was stuff there. So there will be a form of communication when there'll be an intelligence behind it. It won't just be a power surge, or it won't just be something from your local power grid that's failed or something. There will be something behind it. There'll be an intelligence behind it, a controlling intelligence that will be able to help and maybe respond. And so there can be many ways. They can turn your kettle on. I've known someone who came for a sitting with me, and their father turned the kettle on several times. I also know, and I'm sure the person that came and saw me many years ago in Florida for a sitting will remember that she was told by spirit that her daughter was going to contact her through a communication device and phone, and she actually later on actually did get that communication very clearly. And I'll never forget that, because they actually came through and they said that that's what they were going to do, and they did it. And she actually had that sign that way because it was so strong. So there's many ways, ladies and gentlemen, that spirit can communicate with you. I could keep going on and keep going in depth and bringing tons more into the fold here. There's so many ways that I can talk about your intuition and how they'll use your psychic faculties yourself, and how they'll maybe even get signs, like across correspondence, they'll get signs from someone else to tell you something else. But I don't have hours and hours and hours. I teach things like this when I'm teaching workshops, or if I am doing individual lessons, or I'm giving sittings and stuff. But at the end of the day, what I wanted to do is just give you 10 quick overviews of basic signs that you can look for, that you can learn about, that will help you to recognize that your loved ones are there, and that you'll know that it's, there's a scientific explanation for a lot of things, but these things you'll know is you. But I want you to really take on board the point. Don't think everything is a sign. Be grounded, be scientific, and know that it is your loved ones that are reaching out to you. It's getting a bit dim in here, and I'll finish it off there for now. They're your 10 signs. There's going to be a link below to a infographic that I'm going to give you for this, that you can have the 10 signs, one that I had made a long time ago. Leave a comment or question below, and remember, this is not the end. I am going to go through, there are videos and there are podcasts on, I think, the first 4 signs, and even interviews where I talk with people about these signs. And I'm going to continue, so there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more podcast and video with the rest of these signs going far more in depth. If there's something that you want to know, if there's something that you want to learn, just ask. I'm happy to share my knowledge and hopefully share a little bit of spiritual wisdom with you. God bless, ladies and gentlemen. I'll speak to you soon.